Okay, now we're gonna get to work. I don't know where everybody else is, but that's okay. We're here. So somebody had asked, I hope the person that I don't remember who asked for Yigdal, and I don't think the person is here actually. I don't remember who it was because I just wrote down what it was.
I
But
also asked for it, so it's not a
oh,
loss.
good.
I
Okay,
asked for it.
Joyce, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, if you don't have your paper, it's in the Sim Shalom on page 326, the Slim Shalom on 53, and the Lev Shalem on 62. So I'll give everybody a chance to get to the page. This is done usually when you hear this is at the end of the Friday night service. There's another thing they did in the Lev Shalem, so you know where you are and what's going on. On the bottom, it actually says Shabbat evening service concluding prayers in the English and in the Hebrew. Okay, is everybody there? Okay. One of the things that I'm looking in the Lev Shalem, so I don't know about the other book. This is also done as responsive reading in the Hebrew, like the Ashrei. So you'll be more familiar with saying the I would presume the second line, which is the line that the congregation will be saying as part of the response. But we're going to do both pieces, so just in case you ever want to be the leader, you could be the leader too. Okay, so we're starting on the first line, and I'll wait for Ann Lee to come on. As long as she's coming right now, we might as well wait a second. Okay, maybe. Ann Lee, if you're there, we're doing Yigdal.
Okay.
Okay, 62 in Lev Shalem, 326 in the Sim Shalom, and 53 in the Slim Shalom. I'm going to read the first two lines. We're going to do it, I think, just do each piece together. Yigdal Elohim Chai V'ish Tabach Nimtza Ve'ein Eight El Mitzioto Echad Ve'ein Yachid Ki Yehudo Ne'elam V'gam Ein Sof La'achduto. I'm better at the second part than the first. Okay, do I have a volunteer that would like to read? Celia.
Where did I get to Annalise? Okay, I don't know what happened.
Okay, it happens. Technology is wonderful when it works, except when it doesn't. Yes.
Yigdal Elohim Havish Tava.
Good.
Nimza Ve On
Ein.
Eight El Mi Uto.
Good.
Echad Ve Ein Yahid Ki Hudo.
Good.
Nilam Vegam Yen.
V'gam what? What? I didn't hear after V'gam. Sorry.
Oh, I'm lost. I'll start beginning the line. Lam Vegam Ein Suf La Le Duto.
Good. Exactly. La'achduto. Good. Good. Okay. Now the next one. Ein lo demut haguf ve'eino guf. Lo ne'aroch elav kedushato nekadman lechol davar asher nivra rishon ve'ein reshit l'reshito. Okay. Anybody want to volunteer? Anne-Lee, you seem like you were with it. Okay. I'm going to get Anne-Lee, and then next we'll get Arlene. Okay.
Okay. Ein lo demut hey goof ve'eno goof lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmo lachal davar asher
Oh, as you were right the first time.
lachal davar asher nivra rishon ve'ein reshit l'reshito.
Good. Oh,
That's a tongue
okay.
twister.
Yeah. What can I tell you? When you
right.
repeat it. But good. Hino Adon Olam v'chol notzar Yoreh Gedulato umalchuto Shefa Nevuato Netano El Anshe Segulato Betif Arto. Okay. Arlene, it's you.
Higo Adon Olam.
You know.
See,
Didn't hear it.
he no
Good.
Adon Olam Vikol no Sar
Good.
Yoreh Gedulato
Good.
umalchuto
Good.
Shefa Nevuato Nihano El An She Sigulato Vihif Arto.
Good. Say it again. Just say the word together. Put it together, the last word.
Vihif
But-
Arto. Vihif.
No, teeth. The teeth arto.
The T Farto.
Good.
Farto.
Teeth arto.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I
Anytime.
forgot like the first word, he know. That is
Yes.
that dot in the end
It just
sound.
means grammatically that it should be in both syllables. It should really
Okay.
be in, no, but you don't hear that.
Okay,
In,
thank
no.
you.
It's, yeah. Should be in both syllables if you were, whatever. Okay. Lo kam Yisrael kemoshe od navi umabit et tumunato. Torat emet natan la'amo el al yad nevio ne'eman beto. Okay, I have a volunteer. Volunteer?
I can do it.
Faye, thank you. You have a question, Emily? 1 minute before Faye
Yes,
starts.
I don't know if it's my eyes or,
Yes.
and I'm using the large Bima sitter, but I
Yeah.
see that the last two lines of each paragraph of each phrase are bold. Is
Yeah, you
that when
came
the-
in, I think you came in a few seconds late because we
Oh.
dealt with that. If this is, it's okay. I just went, it's like the Ashrei. It's a responsive reading usually.
Okay,
So
that's what I
the
figured. Okay.
congregation does the bold. That's why
Right, okay.
there's a difference. Yeah. It's
Thank you.
usually read, it's sung and it's sung responsively.
Gotcha.
Okay, Faye.
Lo kam be'Israel kemoshe od navi umavit et temunato. Torat emet naten le'amo. Natan le'amo el al yad nevio ne'eman beito.
Good.
Very nice.
I don't know if the second lines are easier or just because I know them better. Because I have
Maybe
never
we're
led
used to them.
Yigdal, but I have responded. So, lo yechalif ha'el Velo Yamir Dato. Laolamim Zulato. Sofe Beyodea Sitarenu Mabit Lasof Davar Bekad Mato. You can do it. You can all do this. Eileen, you want to be brave? You
Who?
don't have to.
Who are you
You,
calling?
Eileen. What would you
Eileen.
like to?
All right.
Yes,
Lo, Yichalo, Leaf,
Good.
Ha'el, Valo, Yamir, Dato,
good,
Leo, Lamim, Litsul, Lato,
good.
Sofa,
Sofa,
Sofe, Via, Vio, da,
they, Yodea. See the two dots first? Yodea,
Vio, de,
good.
Sitareno, Mafi,
Now look again.
my beat,
Yes, good,
Sof, Davar, Bikad, Mato.
perfect, good. So I wanted you to read it correctly, but I knew you could. You have to just look carefully sometimes when it's not something you're really familiar with. Okay. Gomel Leish Chesed Kemaf Alo Notain Larasha Ra Kirish Ato Yishlach Laketz Yamin Mishichenu Lifdot Mechai Ke Kates Yeshu Ato. Okay. So everybody's read. So it's now it's up to the volunteers. I got everybody read. Thank you. Joyce.
Gomel, is that mine the right place?
Correct.
Gomel Leish Chesed Kimif Alo
Good.
Notain Lirasha Ra Kirish Ato
Good.
Yishlach Lekates
No. Good.
Yishlach Lekates Hayi
What? No.
Mean?
Yeah. It starts with the
Haya-
Y. Yes.
Hayamin.
No ha. There's no ha there.
It have a hey with a
Yamin. It's just Yamin. You can do. You see it?
Hayamin.
No, not ha. Did you just say ha Yamin, right?
Yeah.
You said that.
I
It's
have a
Yamin.
hey. I have a hey on
Oh,
there.
must be a different version. Sorry. You have a hey. Okay, you must have fine. I figured you would do it. You wouldn't just put the letter in. Must
Oh,
be
you
a
don't be
different version.
surprised, but not this time.
Okay,
Hayamin
good,
Mishichenu
good,
Lifdot
good,
Mecha Hey.
good.
Mechake. There's a dot in there,
Yes.
so it's
Yes, that's
Mech-
exactly right. Okay.
Mechake. Kates. Yeshuato.
Good, perfect. So you could do this, Joyce. You just have to practice. But you know you can read all the words, right? Yes. Okay. Now I think everybody does this one together. The end is just short. Meitim Yechaye Barov Pasto Baruch Adei Ad Shem Tehilato. Okay, who's gonna read the last two lines? I know I have a volunteer. Yes, Arlene.
Mitim Yehaye El Berov
Good. Good.
Baruch Are
No, the
Ad.
solid.
Baruch Ade Ad Shem Tehilato.
Perfect. See, all of you can read this prayer. You wanted to do it. It's not, obviously it's a little halting, but you can do it. If it's something you want to do, you practice at home and you can do it. Okay, we are going to, and if we want to, we can read it again, but for now we're going to move on. We're going to do the parents' blessing because somebody asked for that. In Sim Shalom at 722, Slim Shalom 311, and Lev Shalom 75. So let's see. 75. Okay. It's in with the stuff that we do at home in whichever prayer book it is, but we have the page numbers. Okay, this is this blessing parents usually give to their children. It's done Erev Shabbat and also Erev Yom Kippur. And it's just a nice way. You generally speak, they also do it a lot of times in synagogues when it's a bar or a bat mitzvah. Parents will do the blessing for the children. Generally speaking, the parents put their hands on the head of their child or children, depending on if you have more than one. And my son, we do it every Friday night, wherever we are. We're generally now these days not with our children in person, but they call every Friday. And my son Jerome will sometimes put his head down so we see his kippah and we can put our hands on his head. So it's just fun. It's a nice connection, obviously, and grandparents can do it for grandchildren also. But it's always good to get blessings, and it's nice to get blessings from our parents, if that's possible. Okay, so I don't know, but I don't have the other books open, I'm sorry, but in the Lev Shalom, it's towards the bottom of the page, where it says, you can see in the English side, it says blessing for children. It's there, and the Hebrew says, just as a point of information, while everybody's getting the page, Birkat Habanim Bahabanot. Does anybody know what that means? It's the
Blessing,
right for
Habanot, children.
yeah,
Plural.
but what's the difference between banim and banot?
Banim and Banot.
Oh, girls and boys or boys and girls?
Thank you. Good for you. Actually, boys and girls. Yes, sons and daughters. Thank you, Ben and Bat. Okay.
I think the name and the note gave me the clue.
Thank you, Kol HaKavod. Look how much you know. That's exactly why you know it, because the ot is a female ending and the im is a masculine ending. Thank you. That's fabulous. Good. Kol HaKavod. Okay. So the most of the blessing is actually the same for whether you're a female or a male, but they divide when you're supposed to be like, even though they could obviously our rabbi said you could say to the girls also you should be like Menashe and Ephraim, because whatever the reason is you're saying, and I won't go into that you should be like Menashe and Ephraim, whether it's they kept their Hebrew names or whatever it is, it could also apply to girls. But his wife disagrees. She wants to do the female one that says Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. And the reason I don't know what her reasoning is, but when I was thinking about it, I thought that it's possibly, even though the first one could apply to all children, we don't want to forget the female voice. And that's why it's too many times in our prayers and in the history, we forget about the females, the women. So we want to remember to bring their voice in. So for the girls, we say they should be like our foremothers. So if you have a son, you say Yesimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim v'Chemanashe. Okay, If you have a girl, you can say, and you can do one after the other. Elohim, Kasara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. And I have no daughters, so I don't practice that one. Okay, then together, you would say for either a boy, male or female, you say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Okay. If anybody wants to read any or all of that,
So I
Celia.
just have a
guess
question. So,
yes, question first.
so
Yes,
like if it's for like a son or a grandson, you would say the
yes.
first line on top,
And then go to the, yes,
and then you say
and
the whole
skip the
thing on the
part.
bottom. But
Right,
then you say
right,
the other
exactly.
3 lines to everybody. So
Exactly.
it's a 4-line prayer. Or
Exactly.
5-line.
And what my kids do, they have a boy and a girl, my son Jerome, and I haven't been there on a Friday night. And they do first the girl and then they do the boy, both of them together. So you do it's exactly right. It's a 4-line prayer. Yep.
So for a grandson or a son, it's the same prayer.
Male, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I don't see 4 lines.
Hanley, do you have a question?
I don't see
You
4
look
lines.
like you're questioning.
I'm looking at the first line, Birchat Habanim v'Habanot. So that's
Right.
1 line. Then I say
No,
for
that's not a line. That's the name of the prayer.
Oh,
That's the name of
okay,
the prayer. The
okay.
blessing for the sons and daughters. That's the name of
okay.
the
So
prayer.
then for
Like
the
at the
son,
top, if you happen to be in Lev Shalem, the one on top of it says Ashrei Ish. It's the blessed man, and so it just gives the title,
I
and then the prayer is finished.
I
Okay.
see, but then it says for a son, for a daughter. That's 2
Right.
lines. So where do you pick up the other 2 lines?
Okay, you either do for a son or for a daughter. That's the difference. And then the other 3 lines are the same for everybody.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so if
Yeah,
I have only a son, so I say Yisimcha Elohim Kefayim Vechem Menashe Yivarech Adonai Yishmerecha. You skip the girl's line. If you have
okay.
a son.
When you have 3 daughters like I have, so you repeat it
say-
each time, or you put
Yeah.
your hand on each head?
You try to put your hand on each head. When I had both my sons at home, it was 2 hands on
Okay.
both heads at the same time. If you
Okay.
have if it's all one gender.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Celia. I think it was you were up.
Ye Simcha Elohim Ka Ki Ephraim
Good.
V'Him Naseh. Ye Simcha. I'm sorry. Ye Simak. Make. Ye Simak.
Yes.
Elohim Ka Sarah.
Good.
Rivka va Rachel
Good.
Leah
Good.
Yivarecha
Yivarechecha. Okay.
Yivarecha I'm stuck.
Adonai.
Adonai Yish Merecha
Good.
Ya Adonai Pa Nav
Good.
Elecha
Good.
Neka Sa Adonai Panav
Good.
Lecha
Good.
Yasam.
The same.
Lecha Shalom.
Good. That so you don't get confused, Stanley. You shouldn't read both of the top lines. I mean, we're reading it just because we're going through it. But if
Yeah.
you were actually giving the bracha, you would do the first line and then the third, fourth, and fifth, or the
line.
second line, the third, fourth, and fifth. Yes,
So-
Stanley, you have
So
another
this is
question.
the
Yes.
same as this blessing is what the Kohanim say when we do Shabbat services. And the Chazan will do it. Okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the parents, you know, it's like when you, a lot of the stuff, once we didn't have the temple anymore, a lot of the stuff that was in the temple, and it was the priest, came to the house, to the home.
Really?
They say, that's why we have salt on the challah, when we have challah on Shabbos, because they used to salt the sacrifice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Our parents act as the Kohanim and give us the blessings. So a lot of the stuff came, and that's why. And
That's interesting. Okay.
thank you.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Any other questions before we move along? Okay. Good. All right. Now, you have a little time left here. Okay. I don't know where we stopped last time, to be honest. I'm a bad person. I tried to write things down, but oh, shut up. Go away.
I think you said we were going to review.
We are going to review, but my problem is we reviewed last time we met, and I don't know how far down we got. We did the Lenu, I'm sure. We did Adon Olam, I'm sure. I don't know how far down we got past that. So wherever
think-
you wanted.
I think we got through the Aliyah, I believe. So I
Okay,
think
good.
the other thing is state of Israel and returning
Okay.
the Torah.
The Torah. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay. Unless there's anything anybody else wants to do, and I can find the pages quickly. Okay. So we're gonna go to the prayer for the state of Israel. Okay. Sim Shalom 416, Slim Shalom 149, and Lev Shalom 178.
Okay. I have a question, please.
Sure.
In our shul, the prayer is always said in Hebrew, never in English. Why?
Why do you think?
Well, it's because the Hebrew is Israel's language. I understand that.
To me, I think that's why it's done. If you want to know the answer, that's why I think it's done. The language of
That's
Israel
what-
is Hebrew. So we should respect that and
Okay.
do it in Hebrew. Some places do it in Hebrew and English. Some people only do it in English. It's the culture of your, the tradition of your shul. But I
Okay.
think, and I don't know for sure. You could ask the rabbi, ask the cantor, ask somebody that knows on the religious affairs committee. But I think it's because the language of Israel is Hebrew. So
It's Hebrew.
Adam.
Okay.
yes, Eileen.
I was just going to say that at my synagogue, my rabbi always does it in Hebrew. However, when we have a bat or a bar mitzvah,
Yes.
we honor one of the guests and they do it in English.
Absolutely in
Yes.
English, right? Do they do it in English? Yes. I forgot about that part, but yes, because we want to get more people honored, and a lot of the people don't feel comfortable doing it in Hebrew, so they'll do it in English. Or if you're lucky, you have somebody that's being honored, they can read it in Hebrew. But oftentimes that is the case for sure. Eileen, you're absolutely right. And many of the shuls I've been in, that's the way it is. Good. Okay.
But-
Also, just as a point of information for people that have Lev Shalem, or I'm not selling Lev Shalem, so but when Jen Arbach was talking yesterday, she talked about some of the things they've done to change the book, and they've offered where we do a prayer for our country, and we're not doing that obviously because that's always done in English. I have never heard a time that was done in Hebrew. And that would be respectful anyway, Lee. It should be in English, right? Because that's the
Right.
language of our country.
Okay.
But they give an alternate that doesn't talk about the government, but talks about citizenship, which is very interesting. That's on the side. They try to offer alternate prayers for some of the pieces. And I thought that was interesting, some of the things that they have done. That's one of them. Anyway, prayer for Israel on 178 and Lev Shalem, and 416 in Sim Shalom, on 149 in Sim Shalom. Okay. Okay. Prayer for the state of Israel. And what we do also is, rather than if there's no bar or a bat mitzvah, we do it in Hebrew. We encourage everybody. There's a leader, but we encourage everybody to join in, so the person isn't doing it alone. Because I've done this as part of the Sisterhood Shabbat, and I like it when everybody joins in. Avinu Sheba Shamayim, Tur Yisrael V'Go'alo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tmicha Ge'ulatenu, Hagen Aleha Be'evrat Hastecha, Ufros Aleha, Sukat Shlemecha, Ushlach Orcha V'amitcha V'rasheha Zareha V'yoatzeha V'taknem V'etza Tova Milvanecha, Hazek et Yedei Migine Eretz Kodshenu V'hanchilem Eloheinu Yeshua V'ateret Nitzachon V'ta'atret Trem, V'natata Shalom V'aretz V'simchat Olam V'hoshveha V'nomar Amen. Okay. I don't know if anybody is using Lev Shalem. Is anybody using Lev Shalem?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you didn't ask. Are you going to ask me a question?
No. Am I supposed to?
Well, I want to see if anybody's going to ask me a question. When we read it, maybe you'll see again if you'll ask me a question. Who wants to volunteer? I'll give you a hint. I'm sorry for the people that don't have it. There is a word that's in brackets. In
Yeah,
the
I
prayer.
saw that.
Okay, so I thought somebody was going to ask, so I was anticipating that. And just for the people that don't have Lev Shalem, it's Avinu Sheva Shamayim Tzur Yisrael Go'ala Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Tmicha Ge'ulatenu, which it means, it says it's the beginning of the redemption. Okay, Reshit is beginning, like Reshit.
Okay.
Some people feel that it's not quite at that point yet, so they say, may it be the dawn. And so they add a word, Shetihiyeh. So I didn't want anybody to be wondering what that was there for. Okay, do I have a volunteer? You don't have to read the whole thing. You can stop anywhere you want. Okay, Arlene.
Avinu Sheba Shamayim Sor Yisrael V'Go'alo Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Michat.
Smichat. That says at the beginning, Tzadi. Smichat. It's a little hard to say.
Michat Ge'ula Tenu.
Yeah, Tenu. Good.
Gain Lecha Lecha.
Not the ch sound, it's an H sound.
Yeah, it's an H. Ha.
Right, ha.
Be'evrat Hastecha.
Good.
Uf Rosh.
Where's the dot?
Wait. I lost it.
It's tricky because there's a dot over the resh that gives the O, but the dot on the sin is on the left. So it's ufros.
Oof.
Gross.
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 Yeah. alecha su kat shalomecha ushlach u
Not
or
oh.
orcha
Good.
avi mitcha
Good.
vibrase ya
Shah.
is it ya?
But yes, but it's Livra Sheha
Uh,
on the right side.
Rashecha Sarecha
It's not a K sound.
Raseha
Good.
Video Secha Vita name
Good.
the a sa
Good.
tova
Good.
meal fanecha
Good.
ase
Good.
et ye day
Good.
Megine eretz. I'll let somebody else continue. It's fine.
Okay.
Oh, there's
Okay. Somebody
one more word.
just
Kad-
finish last word.
Yeah, Kad Shenu.
Good, but it's code Shanu.
Oh,
Okay,
ko.
right? Because it
Yep.
has the
Yep.
okay.
Oh,
Kamatz katan.
see you.
Good.
Thank
Okay. Somebody else want to just finish it up? I don't know if you're on the page, Ramel. Just was a point of information. We're doing the prayer for the state of Israel. It
In
is.
Lev Shalom, what is it?
It's on page 178.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We may read this again because this one with is the first. This is a little tricky. Do I have somebody that wants to read, or do you want?
I can do it.
Okay, Faye.
Okay. V'han chilem
Good.
Eloheinu.
Well, just one second. I'm gonna tell Rumel where we are. Now we're on the last two lines of the prayer. Okay, Faye.
Okay, thank you.
Eloheinu Yeshua Ve'ateret
Good.
Nitzachon Te'aterein V'natata Shalom Ba'aretz V'shimchat Olam Leyoshveha V'no'amar Amen.
Good. So the nomar is let us say, because we say that a lot. You should know that. The nomar. Also, just a few of the words I'd like you to know, and when you see them, you can read it a little bit more. Medinat Yisrael. That's the state of Israel, rather than the land of Israel. This is talking about political state. The state of Israel is Medinat Yisrael, and you're going to hear that sometimes, as opposed to Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so when we see that, hopefully we can. And just in a point of information, Sukkot Shlemecha is exactly like Sukkot. It's a shelter. So it's the shelter of your peace. Remember, we talked about Cha is second person singular. So Cha is you. So it's shelter of your peace. So just when you read it, you're not just reading letters or you're reading words. Okay. And I do have to say, I've been looking at it since last night and just today, this morning, that a lot of the words do match up with the Hebrew and the English. So if you know one word, or if you think, you can look over and see if you just want to know what it means. Okay. Anybody feel they want to do this more? Just if you want to feel comfortable with it, it's up to you. I can skip this. Okay. I don't see any response, so moving on.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. We're going to go to the Torah service because most people are at the Torah service and we're paying attention and whatever. So we're going to do that again. We're gonna, let's see where I am.
Judy, I was going to say,
Tell me what else.
Not that we're doing a half Torah, but there's
Yes.
the prayers before and
Would you
and
like to do the brachot before and after the Haftorah?
now, but included maybe, it's not that I'm doing a half Torah, but I wouldn't mind. Yeah, because at every service.
This
Every-
you can actually sing along to it. Helps you with your Hebrew if you in your
Yeah,
mind. You don't have
I
to sing it out
thought so.
loud.
I thought so. And the other thing is the prayer after the half Torah. Why did they do it very quickly? Before,
Okay.
before-
Okay, I'm gonna put it down, actually, since I don't have the Torah pages right now. I'm gonna put it down for next week also, because that's a little to do both of them. We don't have time for, I don't think.
slowly,
Um,
they do it slowly before. My God, they go through it.
All right, it depends on who's doing it, obviously. We particularly, we find B'nai Mitzvah kids, they want to get through it as fast as possible. In Hebrew and English. Sometimes you can't understand their speeches because they're going so fast. But I always say when somebody reads slowly, whether it's an adult or a child, I say their parents would be happy because they can hear it. Because oftentimes they do it very quickly. Good. Look, as I said before, this is to learn how to read Hebrew. So hopefully you can take what you learned from one prayer and put it when you see the words in another prayer. It's not just to read that. We're not learning for a specific occasion for you to read that prayer alone.
Yes.
That you can do everything. So, but we're using the prayers that we're a little comfortable with. First of all, we're a little more comfortable. Plus, you're gonna be practicing them and hearing them in services. So that we're using those prayers, but it's really two goals. I have two goals. One is that you just learn how to read Hebrew more fluently, and two is to be more comfortable in the service. And that's why we talk about some of the stuff in the service as well as just the reading of the Hebrew. So those are my two goals. I hope they match your goals. Anyway, okay. So we have about 15 minutes. Does anybody have anything they would rather do or what one to do? Yeah. Besides go have a cup of coffee.
Speaking
A
of,
prayer you would like to do.
I do.
Yes, Celia, I'm listening.
Blessing for Telly.
Oh, Talib, good. Okay, good. Okay, so now we're gonna see if this is going to be a test for everyone to see if you can find it. I would go to the beginning, wherever book you're in, the morning service.
Yeah.
Wherever we find the morning service, the beginning of the morning service. And I would think it's going to be there, but let's see. We're going to let's see if we can find it. I'm going to look in the one book that I'm in, and then I'll look in the other one. Okay, let's see. Okay, and the Lev Shalem, it's on 102. I'm going to look in this book and see if I can find it in the Sim Shalom. Let's see. See. Page 2 and the Sim Shalom. It's at the very beginning before the service starts is where we are. Let's see where we start here. Page 65, if I remember correctly. Let's see, 65. The service starts on. Let's see. Okay. Let's see.
Judy, I got kicked off. I just got back in.
Okay.
I don't know what
Page-
happened.
Okay, we're on page 62 and the Slim Shalom on page 2 and the Sim Shalom and 102 and the Lev Shalem.
Yeah. So what are we doing?
And just as a point of information, we sometimes say Lev Shalom because we're more used to saying Shalom, but it's actually Shalem. It's a full heart, Lev Shalem, rather than a peaceful heart. Okay, so on any one of those books, did everybody find it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What
so
are we
where it
looking at?
is,
What are we at? What are we looking at? I have
We're
page
doing
2.
the prayer for before you put on your talit in the morning.
Okay.
Or there's one other time that you put on the talit. When else do we put it on besides the morning? Point of information.
Yom Kippur, Kol Nidre,
Thank you.
It-
Before Kol Nidre, actually.
before
You
Kol
have to do it before Kol Nidre because that's calling a court to order, and you can't do that on Shabbos. So right before, yes, we do. We put
No.
on the talit. Thank you. That's the only time it's worn at night. Okay. Also,
I
when
don't
people
have that. I have the end of Ashrei and Hasikadish.
What book are you reading? Tell me what book, because I have in all 3 books. What?
Slim Shalom. Slim Shalom.
Okay, I had it in this book. I have it. It's on page
62.
62.
Oh, okay. I
62.
misheard you. I thought you said 2. Okay.
That's okay. No, it's on page 2 in the Sim Shalom, the long one, the one that Shabbos had festivals. Okay, so this we some talitot actually have the bracha on at the top of the talit, and some do not. Mine does not. So they figure that way that you don't have to find it in the book. But this is when. Okay, so now if you look in the, if you're in the Lev Shalem, because that's what I'm looking at. I don't know. I guess it's in some of the other ones too. There's like a kavanah, meditation before you do it. We're going to read it because we talked about we were reading Hebrew anyway. So let's read the meditation anyway. This is not part of the bracha, but it's the meditation. Barchi nafshi et Adonai. Adonai Elohai gadalta ma'od hod v'hadar levashta oteh or kashalma noteh shamayim ki yiria. Okay. I have a volunteer. Thank you, Ann Lee.
Yeah. Archi nafshi et Adonai, Adonai Elohai gadalta ma'od, hod v'hatar levashta, oter or ka'asalma.
No, read it again. Wait, we're great until
Ka'alma,
Kishalma, Salma, Kasalma.
Kasalma, Note Shamayim, hello, Karia.
Good.
No, Karia. There's a
Good.
hey.
It's not a word you usually hear. We don't usually hear that word, so that's not something that's a normal saying here. Okay. Then the actual bracha starts out like all of our brachot. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim Eloheinu melech haolam. Some just say Baruch atah Adonai, but this one says there are different formulations. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav b'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzivtit. Okay, so it's the regular formula for a bracha. The first line, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, and then Asher Kidshanu b'mitzvotav, which is also in a lot of our brachot. Okay, it's because when else do we say that? Don't read the last part. Just one example that you have ever done that you say that. So you say Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher Kidshanu b'mitzvotav.
And no
Marlene.
Shabbos.
Public Ner Shabbat.
Thank you. Good.
And le aso b'divrei Torah.
Good. When we study Torah, thank you. Our rabbis keep trying to remember to say that. I take a Women's League Institute class, and the rabbi always starts the study session with that. So we do Torah. Good. That also is the mitzvah. Okay. Good. And there are a lot of them that we do, but just so those are things that you're familiar with. So, and
Judy,
yes, yes.
I have on a number of taluses that I have seen, instead of writing out the word Adonai, there's just an olive that's supposed to represent the whole word.
They have that
Is
in
that
different
for a
ways.
particular sect or division of Judaism, or what?
I think it's just people that want to be, just more careful because they don't know how the talit is going to be used and it's going to go on the floor. I mean, you should always, anyway, a talit is a religious garment. You should be careful with it. You shouldn't throw it on the floor. You shouldn't let it go on the floor. As opposed to a kippah, which is actually just a piece of cloth, which people kiss when they drop it. You really don't have to kiss a kippah if you drop it on the floor. But a talit is a religious, really a garment at this point in time. So they instead of putting the word out the same way as where you see the yud and the hey and other ways where people, or in where they say when they're talking they say Hashem. It's the same thing. Putting that instead of putting Adonai.
I just want to add one more thing. There's this one
Yeah,
cleaners in my neighborhood. If you tell them, and when you take your tallis in and get it clean, if you tell them it's a prayer shawl, there's no charge for any religious items.
Yes.
All a vote for that. Yes, and I
Right.
used to have one too. I used to have a dry cleaner also that would clean it for free. And until the Israelis took over, and they didn't do it for free anymore.
Okay,
Yes,
I have
Ann Lee.
a question. All right, we say the brachot before we put on the talit. What
Yes.
happens if you go to the ladies' room? You're taking it off. Are you supposed to repeat the bracha?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay,
It
I
is
often
a
wondered about
very
that.
good question. And my understanding is no, because you said the bracha for putting on the tzitzit and just temporarily taking it off. You do not have
Okay,
to say it
right.
again.
Okay,
I
You've
always
already
put
said
it on. As soon as I put it on, no matter what reason, I say the blessing.
It,
But now
you
I
know
you
what?
don't have
It never
to.
hurts to say a bracha. You're supposed to say 100 brachot in a day. It never hurts to say an addition. You're not, the only thing I would say is what I'm just going to step back 1 minute and say, and then we're going to have to at least read this one time. There is only one type of time when you're not allowed to say a bracha. You're not allowed to say a bracha if it can't happen. If you are pregnant, you can't say, give me a boy or give me a girl, because you already know it's either a boy or a girl. So you can't pray for something that can't happen. That you can't do. And you can't say this bracha and then not put on a talit. You have to do it. If you say it, you have to do it. So those are the only times. But other than that, you know what? It's wonderful to say brachot.
I guess you could say it before you conceive, huh?
What?
You know, I had 3 boys, so I stopped there because I probably would have had twin boys next. But I guess it was, you could say it before you conceive the barakah, before you, because you already said if it's there, it's there.
Right.
So
Right. And my brother had, I just want to tell you, my brother had 4 girls. So he, after the fourth one is no guarantee. But I wanted to say that we have to at least say this bracha where it's almost 11 o'clock. We could say it together. I don't care how it sounds. Baruch Atah, or you could say it quiet yourself. Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kitshanu B'mitzvotav B'tzivanu B'hitatef B'tzitzit. Okay. Okay, Yasher Koch, it is now almost 11 o'clock. We're going to do the blessings before and after the Haftorah next week, because you hear it. So it's a good thing, actually, and you can follow it, even if you're never going to actually do a Haftorah. Doesn't hurt because we talked about learning Hebrew to learn Hebrew. Anyway, if anybody has anything else, yes, and I'm going to call on you, Joyce. If anybody has anything else they want to do, we have a few more weeks left, and I'd be happy to do that. Yes, Joyce.
So I want to thank you, Judy. I just want to mention to the people who are in the New York area that May 22 is the Israel Day Parade on Fifth Avenue from, I think it's from 11 till 4. If you can get down there to show your support, please come. It's on
Thank you.
Fifth Avenue. I think it's, I know you can look it up. I think it's like 59th Street to 72nd Street. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. Also, if
I'll be
you
marching.
feel up to it, many of your synagogues may be going. If you're in the New York area, our synagogue, I think, is going. I don't know. This is the first time I'm new to the synagogue, and there hasn't been a parade because of COVID. So I don't know, but if you can take part, or if you can watch, and actually we'll be on some of the news stations also, depending on wherever. Anyway, yes, show support for Israel. Kol hakavod. Thank you for mentioning it. Okay, so 11:01, Shabbat Shalom next week, Haftarah. And if there's anything that you would like to do, please let me know.
Thank you.